So it looks like we're going to get started in about 8 minutes. And we can't see the audience, but you can see us. So if anybody wants to type into the chat on the side is your way of asking questions. So you can be the first to say hello if you wanted to. My name is Dr. Dawn Heiman, and we have Dr. Dana Helmink, and we have Dr. Corey Bugg, who are both representatives of a company called Widex, and they make some pretty fantastic hearing aids. So if you guys want to chat in, type in like where you're streaming from. Where in the world are you? I know some people are in Florida, some people are in Chicago or Schaumburg, things like that. So if you wanted to, don't be shy. You can type into the chat where you're at. But I hope today's fun. Did you guys already eat your lunch?
I did.
No. Nope.
I encourage people to bring their popcorn or bring something, you know.
Yeah, I can't eat and present at the same time.
No,
so,
that's true.
you know, had to eat first.
Oh, so it's becoming fall, which is super nice. I love this time of the year.
It's gorgeous out today.
Yeah, I think it was 52 earlier. I haven't been out since I arrived here in the office.
Yeah, it is that beautiful part of a time of year, you know, it gets a little crisp. You're ready for, you know, apple cider and all things pumpkin spice if you're into that.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, cinnamon smelling. They have at Trader Joe's these, I think they're calling them witch's brooms or something like that. But basically it's this long, crinkly, dried up extra brush or something like that they tied into what looks like a broom, but it's all dipped in cinnamon smelly stuff. So it makes your house just smell like cinnamon. It's so fantastic.
I love how Trader Joe's just, you know, like it flipped the switch on, you know, September or whatever day that is, and it is pumpkin spice everything, you know. It's like they become the pumpkin mecca of the world.
Yeah. Them and Starbucks, right?
Right.
You get these chills, and it's a feeling of like, oh my gosh, you get excited for change. It's nice to, you know, have aromas and to have a taste, and then the hear, you know, the different sounds, like you were saying, like, you know, even crunching on apples and stuff is so cool. Leaves are crunching.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We'll see if anyone goes to a pumpkin farm this year. At least around here, it gets really busy. I don't want to be around all the people. I
know. I'm lucky my child is too young to maybe think that's fun.
Yeah, to appreciate it or to miss it. And my daughter's too old. She wouldn't go anyway, at least not with me. So.
Yeah, I don't think my kids want to go. I don't know. But the photo opportunities are always good, you know?
Yeah.
I found a roadside stand that had like a cute thing, and I thought, well, couldn't I just take him there and take the photo? Like we went.
Really?
That's so the city.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's like you don't have to drive all the way out to a farm where nobody's in a good mood when you get there.
True.
After a long drive.
Yeah,
exactly.
We went to Door County a couple weekends ago trying to get away from people, and I guess everyone was trying to be there, and like no one was wearing masks. We were the only people with masks, but we try to like separate and stay away from people and stuff. But I did grab a ton of apples and stuff like that and brought it home. And I'm like, these are Door County apples. We have to eat them, you know? So of course they taste different.
Special apples.
Special. My 15-year-old goes, yeah, smells like Door County. I'm like, right?
I love it.
So
I think
cool.
people think of that as like a place you could potentially more social distance, you know, just because it's more open air and
yeah, but it was so beautiful that it was like flocking people like to the one beach or to where they have on the Michigan side, there are these like cliffs, and the Lake Michigan it was a high windy day, and Lake Michigan was all crazy, and it was so freaking cool and pretty. and you could walk along the trail for a good mile or two with the waves like jumping up at you.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of people that flocked to it because it was a weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know. No pumpkin fest this year for us. All right, so in like 3 minutes, we're going to get started, but we are going to try to have fun talking about the latest Widex hearing aids. Widex, guys, when was Widex first conceived? Because the first time I ever fit a Widex hearing aid, I believe, now I graduated from graduate school in '99, so I think it was, yeah, it was like that summer. It was a Widex
Senso.
P38 Senso.
Oh, yeah.
It was a pair. The woman started crying because she had never been able to wear 2 hearing aids at the same time because she would get dizzy because she had such severe hearing loss. This was in South Jersey. And it was a game changer because you guys were the first ones. Everyone was angry with Widex, I remember, because everything was digital and people were saying, how dare they go digital? Who's going to want just digital hearing aids?
Right.
Right.
The first fully digital hearing aid to reach the market, and yeah, I mean it was a real game changer. But we've come so far since then. But Widex goes way back before that, so into the 1950s, as they're founding, in analog hearing aids like the rest of the industry at that time. And it was family owned and still remains, that original engineer and salesman who started Widex, their families are still, at the helm, kind of leading the company now, which is pretty rare in this day and age to sort of remain a family business to a certain extent at that size and for that many years.
Yeah.
For sure. And it makes a difference when it's like, who the people are, when the people really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, does anybody, oh, hey, Carmel, how are you? If you want to chat and say hi, we can't see you all, but if you wanted to chat in the chat box, tell us where you're from today, what you're eating for lunch. If you have questions during the presentation, please type it into the chat because like I said, we can't see you, but you can see us, but we can read what you're saying. And you never know, like your question might be the same question that 5 other people have. So please go ahead and ask, be vulnerable because other people will silently thank you for asking that because they might have the same question. We all do it. Hey, Paul, nice to see you. Hey, Lindsay, nice to see you. Okay, so just to get things started, this is the first of a series of ear tech talks, in a sense, where we're going to talk about hearing aids. In my practice, I kind of, I work with you, I find out what you need and things, but we never really talk about the hearing aids so much, where we don't usually have an open house. These ladies, I don't think have ever been to my office for an open house. It's not something that we generally do. So I feel like I am not treating you as well as maybe other practices because I was like, well, if you needed something, I would let you know. And depending on what you need, I would, guide you in that way. But so we're not going to discriminate. We're going to try to have all the companies, but think of this like your car show that you like to go to and you want to find out about the latest car technology, but maybe you weren't ready to buy a car at that moment. You're just curious, like Consumer Reports or what's that magazine? I can't think of it. It's so cool that it has all the techie stuff. Anyway, I'll think of it later. I'll type it in the chat. But today we're talking about the Widex Moments. And so I am going to take away Dr. Helmink's camera and Dr. Bug's camera. And we're going to begin the presentation. So this is an educational series. And by the end of this particular webinar, I want you to have an insider's view into the latest technology presented by this company called Widex. So if you can, turn off all distractions. Go ahead and Lance, I'm so glad you're eating Portillo's for lunch because actually I'm a little jealous. But eat your lunch, have fun, and stay to the end because we have a lot of cool stuff to present to you. So if you're curious about what's the latest, what's out there, what's possible, we're going to show you. But real quick, I just want to review with you about like our mission for our office. And we really do feel like every patient, as you know, if you are already my patient, you know this, I really want you heard. I want you to feel like we took our time with you and we're guiding you through this process so that you're not overwhelmed. We could talk about every single hearing aid that's out there and thousands of them, but then you wouldn't know which is best for you. So we try to like streamline the process. And the first step is meeting someone like Lindsay, who is amazing with helping you to navigate your schedule and our schedule so that we spend enough time with you. And having that appropriate amount of time and making sure we get the right information really helps us so that your appointments are efficient. So we find out as much as we can before we even start looking at the ear and all that good stuff. So as you know, our evaluation is not just me testing your hearing. It's about really finding out what's best for you and then coaching you and teaching you. Hearing loss is a chronic disorder, and a lot like diabetes, it's not necessarily going to go away. And so we have ways to help you to just, you know, move along and coach you with strategies and tips and tricks and all of that. So as you know, our history is probably when I ask you questions, that's the history where I want to find from you what's really going on. How is this affecting you in your daily life? And then I try to use best practices in evaluating your hearing. And then if we do work with hearing aids, setting them correctly and trying to make certain that we're not missing anything. Because this is a long-term approach. This is a marathon. It's not a one-stop, you buy something and you leave. This is a long-term care process. So as you know, I take a comprehensive history, we evaluate your hearing, and we're giving you all this information to take home. As you might know, if you've ever been to other places, they won't even let you have your hearing test results. And we're confident in ourselves and making certain that you learn about what is on that paper. And then I also want you to take it home to save it, because those are your medical records. If anything changes, I want you to know this. As you know, once we figure out like what's going on with you and what your strengths and weaknesses are, how's your dexterity, how's your vision, what are your goals, then I can fit you with a pair of hearing aids to try in the office. And I'm pretty certain if you're one of my current patients, you've done this. If you've already come in with hearing aids you've been wearing and you just wanted to upgrade, you might not have done the demo process. But we are unique because we do provide this demo where you could take home the hearing aids for 2 weeks. Because if you've never worn hearing aids, why would you buy something where you're not sure if this is going to work? And we want to start your rehabilitation process right away. As you know, it takes sometimes years for you to get to the point where you're ready to make this appointment. And then when you come in, you're finally overcoming this big fear. You want to get started, right? So we give you that option. And like I said, we just want to make certain that it'll be something that'll be easy and more seamless for you. So we're setting things conservatively that first day, and we're trying to choose something that'll make your life just easier. When we're talking about best practices, as you know, we're using real ear measurements. We're not assuming that your ear is the size of a robot that was in a test research lab. We know that you're unique, so we want to make sure that the prescription is set correctly. And we're also writing everything down and giving you written guides. So many of you probably have these at home. You have your hearing wellness plan. And so I'm taking you through the process from day one of just simplifying your life so that you can work with these right away and giving you some steps. So again, you're not overwhelmed. We're just breaking this down. So little by little, we're retraining your brain so you eventually can hear your best in as many situations as possible. And then many of you don't know, or maybe you do know, I created an online program called the Hearing Wellness Journey. It's an online oral rehab program. And basically, over the past year, I videotaped over 40 videos of me teaching you everything I wanted you to know. So it's very poignant now that we have COVID and people are wearing masks and they're not able to spend as much time with me as they had before. And when I'm wearing a mask, it's hard to hear me. You can't see my lips. So we have these videos, and I have all of them closed captioned, and I take you through the process. The last 2 modules are even listening exercises. We're retraining the brain. There's fast speech, speech and background noise. I'm teaching you lip reading. I'm teaching you strategies of where to sit in the auditorium, things like that. So this is an option for all of my patients, and audiologists all over the country are now incorporating this into their program. Lastly, we make sure that you guys get priority. So we're trying to schedule you your appointments from the demo to the point where you're in your own hearing aids. We're scheduling you out so you get priority and you don't have to wait weeks to be seen. Lastly, I really believe that integrity is the key in any practice, and what I do behind closed doors and in our offices are HIPAA, regulated and all of that, but also how do you know, how would anyone know that I am using best practices? And I just know that in my heart of hearts, whether someone's looking or not, I'm going to try to do my best for you. As if you know, I am kind of a perfectionist, and if things aren't right, I want to make it right. So what do I tell you? I say, if there's something wrong, I want you to complain. I want you to call. And I'm telling you again, complain, because I won't know to fix it if you don't tell me. So I want you to feel comfortable working, with me. So if you have any questions, again, put it in the chat. But now we actually have 2 experts today. We have Dr. Dana Helmink and we have Dr. Corey Bug, who are both from Widex that are they're the experts on this unique was one of their products. Now this is the Moment. The Widex Moment is so cool. And I'm excited that they're coming in to show us all this tech. So I am going to bring them into the program. Let's see, is there videos pop up? I am going to step back and I'm going to give them the podium, so to speak. So welcome.
We appreciate you having us today. We're really excited. I don't know if you can see us, but basically with the darker hair, I'm Dr. Corey Bug, and the lighter hair is Dr. Dana Helmink.
Hi. Nice to meet you all. So we are both from Widex. I am a clinical product specialist, so I really do focus a lot on product and supporting the hearing professionals who are fitting our products on their patients. And we're excited to introduce that technology to you today. So let's get started. We're going to talk today about Widex as a company, and then the Moment, which is our newest product that was introduced to the market this year. And it's really a super exciting technology that has a lot of firsts for the industry. So it is, the industry's first hearing aid to provide a number of things, including using machine learning to give you an opportunity to have more personalization and more control when you get into unexpected or challenging situations. The first to use a really ultra fast signal processing strategy, and we're going to talk about why that's so important. And incorporates a lot of tools for a precision fitting. So Dr. Heiman talked about, best practices for getting a good fit, and we provide a toolkit that supports getting there as fast as possible and giving you really accurate sound quality. And then, people like something that's, either the smallest or the biggest, depending on kind of what it is that you're buying, the biggest TV, the smallest hearing aid. So the smallest lithium-ion rechargeable solution in the marketplace today, so that it's just something that fits really nicely into your lifestyle as well. So in terms of the Widex Moment family, as we call it, you do have a variety of styles of hearing aids that you can choose from. And, the style of hearing aid that's appropriate for you is going to be based on a number of factors: your hearing loss, your lifestyle, your preferences. And this is something that you would work with Dr. Heiman to determine what's appropriate for you, what's best for you, what's going to meet your needs. But we have a range of small little devices that fit behind the ear with the wire that go into the ear, the RIC devices, as well as in the ear custom-made options. So there's really something there for everybody. And a really popular strategy, popular feature today is rechargeability, and we are offering that. As I said, that smallest lithium-ion rechargeable product. So I'm going to lift it up kind of to the camera. So if you do have a camera view and can see me, here it is, about the size. The charger's about the size of a deck of cards. The hearing aids just sit right in it there, as you can see in the picture as well. So you can drop these in the charger at night before you go to bed, wake up ready to go, and get through your full day with that ease of rechargeability. But what's probably most important in a hearing aid, not probably, definitely, most important in a hearing aid is how you're hearing with it, what it does in terms of meeting your needs in your day-to-day lives. We lead complex and different lifestyles from person to person, from day to day, from hour to hour within that day. And so the design of a hearing aid needs to support that you have the best experience throughout all those situations. And a guiding goal that we've had at Widex is to deliver something we call effortless hearing. And I love this. I love that Widex has in its mission statement as a company to deliver perfect hearing, and that we design for this idea of effortless hearing, where we're going to work to reduce the demand on you as the listener, to reduce the cognitive effort that it takes. So listening and communicating with hearing loss is hard, but a properly designed hearing aid can reduce that effort, can reduce the burden on you. So we want to increase your communication success across all environments that you're in, and do it with as much automation as is possible. Because let's face it, right? You want to put your hearing aids on in the morning and just go about your day and have them meet your needs without a lot of effort on your part.
And I would agree with you, Dana. I think this really fits into also what Dawn does in her practice with her oral rehabilitation system that she created online. All of these things coming together, if we can provide that device that's giving you effortless hearing to go through that entire process, you're just going to come out on the other end with the ability of that ease of listening, of really putting it on and being able to go throughout your day, knowing that the hearing aid is going to meet your needs in each environment without question. And so I think those two things in combination together give you as a patient sort of the best case scenario for success in any type of loss that you might have.
Exactly. So when we talk about effortless hearing and delivering this sort of ideal or perfect sound, I have to tell you that it starts at the input point. So what we mean is it starts where the sound enters the hearing aid. We always spend our time thinking about what comes out of a hearing aid, but it has to start with what we capture, the sound in the environment. And Widex is designed our systems to preserve all that incoming sound. Nothing added, nothing left out. So our goal is to be sure that we can capture both your very soft-spoken grandchild playing on the floor, or the leaves rustling on a fall day, because it does not sound like a fall day when you don't hear those leaves rustling, and capture those really soft, important sounds, but do it also in a framework where we know you're going to get bombarded by really loud sounds in a noisy restaurant or a family gathering. And we have to be able to handle those coming in without distortion, so that we can then manage them for your comfort, all in the same device, right? And so what we've designed is an industry-leading kind of, if you think of it like a window of sound that can enter the hearing aid. We want that window to be big. We want to capture the soft sounds. We want to capture the loud sounds. And so this is the starting point for what you're going to hear. So it really matters. The other thing, the other thing we want to look at is kind of that resolution. So in our quest for that perfect sound, that ideal sound, we look at the resolution of that. So it's our sampling rate. It's how many of the data points that we're keeping and acting on. And we want to replicate that fully. We want to use all the data points that are available to us. And again, we're leading the industry in doing in that resolution, right? So you think about this in your daily lives, right? When you buy an HD TV, or when you think about the pixels in a camera, you know, that you're using, all of that leads to a better image, a better quality. And so we are doing the same thing in the hearing aids, and we lead the industry there as well. And then lastly, we have to do all of that quickly, right? So hearing aids today are amazingly complex computers that fit in this little tiny thing behind our ears. And there is a lot of processing that goes on in those tiny little computers that we're wearing on our ears. And so it's important, we're doing a lot of amazing and sophisticated things in them. And we need to do it quickly, because if there's much delay or time spent processing, then the thing that happened in real life, you know, is gone and done as it's getting processed through your hearing aids. And you end up with this sort of delay that can impact your experience, the sound quality. I'll ask you to think about some time in your life when you experienced that delay when you're watching something and the lips and the audio don't match up. Maybe you're streaming on Netflix. I think we're all doing a lot of that these days. But it's super annoying, right? And it's kind of like very, you know, really puts you off. You're like, oh, there's a delay here, right? You don't want to have to live with a delay like that in your hearing aids, and listening to that day in. It's fatiguing, it's stressing, right? So it's important that hearing aids can process as fast as possible. And with Widex Moment, we have totally broken the barrier on this. We have brought delay, or the processing time in a hearing aid, down to almost nothing, 0.5 milliseconds. This is a huge leap forward. This is, you know, this is right up there with like landing on the moon in the hearing aid world. Okay, give me a little leeway on this. It's not the, you know, it's not the moon landing, but in the hearing aid industry, this is a huge thing. It's the first time that it's really happened, that we can do something with virtually no delay, so that we can eliminate the kind of distortion and sound quality experiences that people have related to that. It's what is allowing us to deliver a hearing aid that doesn't sound like a hearing aid. It doesn't end up sounding to you to be a little artificial or a little microphony or just a little unnatural. It really delivers on natural sound quality.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that Dana and I will tell you, we've been hearing, even from our own selves listening to the hearing aid, but from patients, is I forget I have it on. Mm-hmm. And that to me is like the ultimate goal of using hearing aids. It has become part of you and your day so much that it's just, you forgot you even put it on, and you're living your life as normal as possible. And so that's what we're really excited for, as far as the benefit to you on what this technology can do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all how we're doing it. And then what are we doing, right? So how we do it and what we're trying to do. Speech is one of the most important things that you're listening to. It's what most of us are trying to restore if we have some hearing loss. We want to hear the speech in our environment. And so Widex has a really unique approach to how we do this. We actually have an algorithm in our hearing aids. This is one of those techie things. You're gonna see my tech geek come out here. But this is one of those things. We have an algorithm that actually is able to detect speech. And that's kind of a big deal, right? So at that incoming signal point, we are analyzing what's coming in, and we can look for the characteristics of speech, the fact that speech has certain temporal and spectral characteristics to it. And we can say, that's speech. And then take action to enhance it, to raise it or bring it in above the noise in an environment. So we look for where speech is present and enhance it, and look for where noise is present and reduce it, so that you can have an easier time understanding speech in your environment. And those environments vary, and the strategy to addressing them varies. And this is another one of those things that we're doing in a Widex hearing aid automatically, behind the scenes, all the time. Nothing that you need to do except put them on and keep them on during the day. And we're looking for indications. We've trained our system to recognize environments that you're in: a small social group, a quiet room, a loud party, the supermarket, in your car, and then to look at whether somebody is talking, if there's speech present in that environment, and when there is, optimize and prioritize for that speech, and when there's not, optimize and prioritize for your comfort, so that you don't spend time doing a lot of adjusting volume up and down, or noticing that you're not hearing. It just kind of moves with you and adapts to your environment.
And I think when we think about how we're wearing a hearing aid, we just want to optimize speech in almost every situation. Comfort is there. We definitely want comfort, but I think that the key thing here is we're optimizing speech for you, whether you are in the supermarket or you're with your grandkids or you're watching TV or you're riding in the car. Speech is our number one priority, and that's the reason why most people are looking to get help for their hearing.
Yeah. And by being able to detect the kind of environment that you're in, we make the right adjustments to a lot of very sophisticated features and parameters within the hearing aid, and don't require that you have to do anything else. And that's the most amazing thing. I think, when I was a young baby audiologist, and programmable hearing aids where you could give patients a program they could change to was amazing. I thought then, and then hearing aids advanced to this, and this is truly amazing. Being able to just hear and have to really do as much to get there.
And the research really shows that while programs were really great when that was all we had, we know that the hearing aid is actually faster and smarter at determining the exact environment that we're in than we are by pressing a button as a human and moving into that program. So the ability for the hearing aid to look at a party different than a small social gathering, different than you're at the grocery store and ran into someone and you're talking and there's the PA system. Each of those environments are uniquely dynamic and different, and the ability of the hearing aid to adapt to that is going to be smarter and faster than what we can do as an individual.
Absolutely. And so with all that automatic, our goal is that you don't need to do anything, but there is, and that's going to be 80% of your time, 90% of your time, your hearing aids are going to meet your needs automatically. But we want you to be happy all the time. And have your needs met all the time. And so that's where the technology of using apps and machine learning really comes into play. And this is some other really cool and exciting stuff, is the ability to kind of customize your own hearing experience when you find yourself in a situation where your hearing aids might not be meeting your needs exactly. And that's because it's hard to predict every situation you're in. It's hard to program hearing aids for every unusual that once in 6 months that you end up at a wedding reception, in our past lives when we did stuff like that. But we'll get there again. So when you're in those difficult situations, you need tools, and that's what we're really delivering through the Widex Moment app. And just so you guys know, our app is actually something you can download and run in demo mode and play with it yourself. So if you just want to see a little bit about how this works without, hearing aids, the hearing aids involved, search Widex Moment in your app store and go ahead and download it, and it'll give you an option to run it in a demo mode where you can see what some of the features feel like. It's kind of a cool way to experience technology there. But go ahead, Corey.
Go ahead. No, I just was going to add one thing. I think one of the things you said about this is it is a tool. Yeah. So we think of this as, you always need a toolbox for the best communication possible. And a hearing aid is part of that toolbox. And then within the hearing aid, we're sort of giving you these other tools to fine tune and adapt to where you are. And that's what Dana's going to talk about next, is really that sort of additional tool of fine tuning. But just so you guys know, I know many people, and I'm going to totally say this, I don't use my phone that much. This is something I'm so not into. I'm going to miss out on all these tools. You don't need them all. No. And you don't have to have them. Again, these are things that are built within the hearing aid that can be activated at any time. And our ultimate goal, right, is for you to go through that journey and process with Dr. Heiman in her office and through the whole process with the hearing journey. And then these are just added things that you can have anytime you want. They're really cool, but just, we don't want to like scare any of you that you have to use additional techie things if that's not what you need.
Yeah, and you'll find what works for you. You know, I mean, I think we all experience this. Sometimes you get something new technology, you know, new phone. I got an Apple Watch, you know, I was like, oh, it does all these things. And then I actually ultimately found like 5 things that it does amazingly well. And I use it for those things and not all that other stuff. And you'll have your own exploration and you'll find out when to use an app and what it can do for you. Or you'll find that you don't need it as much, and that's great. That's what our goal is automatic hearing. But if you need it, it's there for you. And it's going to allow you to do basic things that you would expect, change program, adjust volume. But then there's some other cooler, more sophisticated things that are part of it. And that's where our machine learning strategy comes in. So machine learning is this ability for you know, computers to use information that we give them to, you know, kind of come to a conclusion very quickly and then learn from its prior interaction with us to do everything faster in the future. And so that's how we apply machine learning in our app. So what you're able to do then is to go into an environment and say, oh, I think I need some help in this situation. To enter into this SOUNDSENSE Learn feature within the app, where you can answer a couple questions that will ask about where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish in that environment. So I might say I'm in a restaurant and I want to reduce noise, or I want to focus on conversation. And you'll go ahead then into this process where we're going to give you some different sound profiles to listen to. Now, let me tell you, you know how to do this if you've ever had an eye exam. So if you've had an eye exam, you've gotten to that point. All right, you can see I wear glasses. I'm very familiar with this, but we've gotten to that point where the eye doctor is saying, do you like A or B? Do you like 1 or 2 as they flip the lenses? We do the same kind of thing in the app. You listen with A, you listen with B. Go back to A, go back to B, you can pound something back and listen, and you say to yourself, do I like one of these better in the situation that I'm in? Is one of them helping me achieve my goal? You indicate your preference and then move on. We'll do a few of those, just like at the eye doctor, they do you know, a few of those comparisons. We'll do a few of these comparisons with you. And ultimately, you will have the experience, I call it the aha moment, when you go, oh, that's better, I'm hearing better. Like the noise went away, that person got easier to hear, or you know, whatever the situation was that you were in. It's better. Okay, I'm done. Usually takes a few of those listening comparisons. You can give that a name, that new program that you're creating a name, and save it as a favorite that you can return to when you're back in that situation again. Or you can even try it when you're in another similar situation. So as a quick, easy way to see, oh, you know, when I was in that restaurant, that helped me. Maybe in another restaurant, it does too. Or you can do a whole new comparison for a different situation. It's really there to help you with those, you know, unusual situations that you're in that our system might not be trained to identify and recognize and meet your needs. It takes a minute or two and the payoff is significant.
And I think one of the things that I really like about this is we can't be there as your provider in every place. And you know, I used to practice in a practice like Dawn's before I worked for Widex. And one of the things that was so hard for me with patients was they were like, well, you fixed it for this restaurant. And then I went to a different restaurant and it didn't work as well. And I thought, I'm like, oh no, well, if I change it for that restaurant, then it's not going to work as well in the last one. This instead empowers you as the patient to basically kind of give yourself this maybe 10 to 20% improvement of hearing that you kept returning to me for adjustments, empower you to be able to have some of those right at your fingertips whenever you need them. And if you end up loving something, the best part of this and all is that Dr. Heiman can actually make this permanent in your settings so that you can add this sound change or quality change to your preferences. And so we're sort of taking this objective measurements and objective information that Dr. Heiman does through her whole process to find the right fit for you and trying to marry it with some of your subjective sound quality preferences in different environments too, to kind of create kind of the best of all worlds if we can.
Yeah.
So
It's really cool. I mean, it's kind of like being able to take your audiologist with you to all the situations where you wish that, you know, she could know what it was like for you there. What is that situation like? And so when you engage in our app, when you explore sound like this and save these favorites, it's then something she has visibility to when you come back and see her for a follow-up appointment. So, I mean, you know, it's sort of a funny little image in my head, but it's like kind of having your, you know, having your hearing care professional in your pocket all the time if you need them. So it's really, again, a unique way to apply technology. And then, you know, another way that we're applying this kind of app use and strategy is also to look at streaming. Obviously, streaming is, you know, a part of our lives for a lot of people, whether you're streaming phone calls, whether you're streaming music, and especially when it comes to streaming music. You know, Widex has been known as the musician's hearing aid for decades. We're the hearing aid that people choose if they're musicians, if they're sound engineers, because of the way we can deliver on that premium sound quality for music. And we've applied a lot of what we learned there into the streaming environment as well to kind of overcome some of the challenges of Bluetooth streaming quality. That Bluetooth was never meant to stream music, it was meant to send data. And so now we're able to kind of, we take strategies to sort of upscale that Bluetooth signal to make it a better quality for speech, for music, and then to give you some ability to customize in that as well. So again, all these ways that we're using an app to, you know, better your experience overall. And if you're not a Bluetooth person, you're not going to get a hearing aid that has Bluetooth. Maybe you're doing a different style or size, or you don't have a phone, you know, that has Bluetooth capabilities, you know, or don't care to turn that on. That's okay. There's options for everyone. We have some other apps that can be used to control your devices as well. So the ToneLink app is another option that we have available for you. So there's really something for everyone. And then accessories as well. So, you know, this is probably one of my favorite things as well about the Widex product portfolio is that there's really something for everyone, whether you want a landline phone that streams directly to your hearing aids. We have compatible accessories for that, or a TV streamer, so something that you can get some streaming from your TV to your hearing aids. And then needs change, so it's really great that we have a lot of different things to offer. All of a sudden, with a lot of people, you know, working from home, using Skype and various, you know, kind of things, some of our accessories have, you know, gained all new popularity and application as people deal with home, you know, work conferencing through their laptops, and something they didn't have to do before. We've got an accessory for that. Is kind of should be our tagline. You know, so whatever your needs are, we've got something there to meet them as well. Okay. So that was an introduction to Widex Moment, our latest product, which is really, you know, giving you this unparalleled sound quality, this natural sound quality, access to all the sounds in your environment, allows you to achieve that effortless hearing. And now I'm going to switch gears just a little bit though and talk about tinnitus, because this is another area where Widex really stands alone, is in the treatment for tinnitus that we provide as part of our hearing solutions. And so I'll talk a little bit here about tinnitus and then about that solution. So what is tinnitus? Well, first of all, let me say that if you say tinnitus, you're not wrong. There's some regional dialectal differences, and it kind of depends on if you're layman or a medical professional. So tinnitus or tinnitus is a ringing or a similar sensation in the ear. So you might perceive it as a humming or a buzzing or a roaring. There's a lot of variety in the way that people describe that. And you may perceive it in one ear, both ears, or more as something that's kind of in the center of your head. And all of those things incorporate that broad term of tinnitus, okay? And the impact of it can vary. You may have minor sleeping disturbance. Other people may have severe depression, anxiety, you know, and interruption of their daily quality of life. There is a large range of how people are affected by their tinnitus and how disturbed they are by having it. So when we talk about tinnitus therapy, we're often talking about people who experience a chronic tinnitus that has a an impact on their life that is a disturbance to their kind of quality of life. And so there are things that we can do for patients. And if you experience that kind of tinnitus, you're not alone. It's quite common. It's prevalent. 50 million Americans are living with what we describe as some kind of chronic or persistent tinnitus. And it's related very often to hearing loss. It can be caused by past history of noise exposure. It can be caused just by the natural aging process and acquired hearing loss that way. There are some other things that can play into it in terms of ear infections and other medical conditions. So an evaluation to assess the nature of your tinnitus and the possible cause of it and a treatment plan for it is critical to know what you're dealing with. For most people who experience persistent tinnitus, there is not a cure for it, but that is not a hopeless statement. Okay, we can't cure it and make it go away, but there is treatment for it. There are ways that we can help to reduce the disturbance that it creates, to reduce how much you notice it, how much it impacts your daily life. And that is the goal of what we call Widex Zen therapy. And it is a focused tinnitus treatment program that is part counseling, part relaxation, part education, and sound therapy through the hearing aids themselves. All right, so Widex Zen therapy is this specialized therapy program for tinnitus. And we use these, what we call Zen tones. They're these musical-like tones that are proven effective across probably dozens of studies at this point in time, because we've introduced this technology more than a decade ago. And so this is proven technology that reduces the adverse reaction to tinnitus. It helps, it can't take away your tinnitus, but it helps to create what we call habituation, the ability for your brain to say, I'm not going to pay attention to that tinnitus. It's there, but it is not going to be the focus of what my brain is attending to. And there is a proven strategy, a medically, professionally based therapy strategy to help you get there. It's not the same as saying, oh, just ignore it. It's saying for some reason your brain is not ignoring that, but we can help you to get there. We can help to promote that kind of that state where you no longer notice that tinnitus the way you initially did. We also focus on things like relaxation and improving concentration. And it's something that's available in all Widex technology. It's one of those little moments that makes me really proud to be part of Widex, is the fact that this is not something that we consider to be, something you have to pay extra for to get access to this within our hearing aids. Everybody should be able to get that kind of treatment for tinnitus. And we use these musical tones, and there's a reason for that. Music is an amazing therapy tool. It activates all the different neural structures within our brain. And, tinnitus, we perceive it in our ears, but it's happening in our brain. It's in our auditory cortex. It's in the parts of our brain related to sound is what's generating that tone. So we need to treat the brain, not the ear necessarily. And music is a great tool for that. In addition to that, music has the ability to be relaxing and soothing, to help, kind of calm, our respiration, our heart rate, and we use all of that. So these Zen tones are these kind of chime-like tones. If you've been to, a spa or something like that, you've heard that music playing in the background. There's, a little similarity to some of what you hear there, because it's relaxing. And the music stimulates the brain, and it's generated within the hearing aids. It's this patented algorithm that Widex has to actually make the tones in the hearing aid specific for your hearing loss and for your needs. And ultimately, the benefits of it are to facilitate that habituation, right? And when I talk about habituation, I mean, like, the reason that you don't notice your watch, even though you're wearing it, is you're habituated to it, right? You don't think about it because it's just something that you're used to. That's where we want to get you with your tinnitus as well. We want to get you relaxed. We want to reduce stress, reduce annoyance from tinnitus. And that's the goal of this program. Dr. Bug and I have both had lots of experiences being able to work with patients who have benefited from tinnitus therapy. And it is truly one of the most rewarding things that I've been part of, to change somebody's life in that way, where they go from feeling so much despair and, about their quality of life to, getting back to the things they used to always do. And in addition to looking at hearing aids as a therapy, apps play a big role in that as well. The Widex Zen Tinnitus app. So again, if that's something you want to search, like our other one, always be sure you put that Widex in the name. It'll get you there. So Widex Zen, or if you were looking for the other one earlier, Widex Moment. So search for our apps. But this Widex Zen app is great. You don't even need to have a hearing aid or be using our hearing aid in order to benefit from this app. It has great information in it about tinnitus. It has relaxing, sounds and musical tones that you can play through speakers or stream to hearing aids if you have hearing aids capable of streaming. And then it has exercises in it that are designed to help you with sleep and relaxation. And again, these are great tools. There's more information about how tinnitus affects sleep, about how you can improve your experience. And then these narrated exercises to help you wind down and go to bed and, minimize that impact that it has, or do relaxation exercises. So I've actually personally used the sleep exercises when I wake up during the night and my brain starts kind of going and I know I'm going to be up like for 2 hours in the middle of the night. And, I have gone to this and just kind of done the exercise just to kind of recenter myself and go back to sleep. So everybody can use a little bit of Zen in their life.
That's a great way to put it. And I will tell you, I have a lot of patients who this is helpful at night. They can keep it on their phone on a charger next to the bed, and they don't have to wear their hearing aids while they're sleeping, but they also don't have to bother their partner or anyone else that might be sleeping with them, because they can, play it right from their phone. You could play it through headphones if you wanted. I've used this on a plane when I've been trying to, I haven't flown in a while, but when I've been trying to catch a little snooze or trying to focus on something on the plane with a lot of other stuff going on, this has been really an awesome option for me too.
Exactly. All right, so that was that's our introduction to Widex Moment. I hope that you're excited to learn more about it, to explore it, because we've been really excited. I think that I've been an audiologist for over 20 years now. Dr. Bug has over 10 years, and it's only ever so often that something really significant comes along that really changes the way we think about hearing, the way we think about amplification and treating hearing loss. And this is one of those moments, no pun intended, where we have really changed something. And I think we're going to be rethinking what our requirements are in the future as an industry for quality sound based on what we've done here. That this is a new kind of benchmark for us. All right. So I saw there were a lot of questions coming in. So Dr. Heiman,
we're going to let Dawn take first.
Thank you so much, both of you, for presenting this to us. And you're right. I mean, benchmarks, this level just keeps going higher, 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 and everyone else has to catch up, right? And everyone in the world benefits, even those without a hearing loss that are suffering or just struggling with tinnitus or just need some relaxation techniques. Mm-hmm. That app is amazing. Yeah. So I thank you all for this. Yeah. We do have some questions. Paul was wondering, how long does a rechargeable battery last through the day, let's say?
Yeah, so there's the range on that will be about 16 to 20 hours of use, and that will vary a little bit depending on a number of factors. Your degree of hearing loss, some streaming that you do, features, but 16 to 20 hours on that full charge. And then for patients who might either they forgot to charge or they had a really excessive demanding day, there is a 30-minute quick charge option. So you can drop the hearing aids in the charger for 30 minutes and it's going to boost your use time by another 4 hours of use for that 30-minute charge.
Great. And then what kind of rechargeable battery is it? And do you have to get rechargeable?
You don't have to. We have models that do not have rechargeable. So if you are comfortable with and like the traditional pull tab batteries, we've got that in our portfolio as well. It is a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. It's fully encased and it's warranted by Widex. So it isn't a battery that that lithium-ion rechargeable is not a battery that you as a patient would have to replace or source somewhere. That is part of the warranty on the hearing aid, and we take care of it for that warranty period and the life of the hearing aid beyond that if it should need it.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you can travel with the hearing aids. You don't need to identify them in any sort of way, if they're back flying again, or that kind of thing. Although lithium ion sometimes can scare people, it's a different situation. You don't have to be concerned about that as far as what your
it's a small battery that it doesn't we have a visitor. It's such a small battery that you don't need to worry about some of those restrictions on traveling by air or shipping or any of those kind of things. And the other thing that I should point out, sometimes people think about, well, what will I do about charging if, there's a power outage, things like that. So this little charger, you can plug it into one of those power banks. So a lot of people are thinking of keeping those power banks around, charge your phone, charge your hearing aids if you should find yourself in, a power outage situation due to whatever might be going on in the world. So.
I have another question. Are you offering a bi-cross system?
So we do have Widex does have cross and bi-cross systems as part of our portfolio. It might, what is appropriate for the patient in terms of, we have different products. We have the Moment product that we learned about today, which is our newest. And then we have the Evoke product, which is the generation before that. So at this point in time, for a cross or a bi-cross, we would look at that Evoke product line. And in the Moment, that has not been introduced at this point. So there is a cross and bi-cross option, for anybody who needs that. We just have to look at what is the right match for them.
And then he also wanted to know, he really would love to be able to focus in on a conversation.
Right.
He needs a bi-cross. Can you use a remote mic also?
So I think there's two things there. You can use the remote mic, but you wouldn't be utilizing your cross at that point. You'd be utilizing the hearing aid side. So that would give you focus. In addition, there could be the option for you to have a program designed with, a more forward-facing option within your microphone setup. And that also, again, is going to, strongly be used through your hearing aid side. Whether you have normal hearing or not, it's going to, the focus is primarily on that side that you're receiving the actual input from. And then really, Dana, am I missing? Those are the two ways I would say you would create the focus, per se, when you have a cross on one side. We've got to find a way to get those microphones in the direction that you need them to be in permanently, so they're not automatically adapting. So right now, when you're in the automatic program, they're automatically moving to where speech is. So it is focusing. But as you know, like when we're in a multi-talker situation or in a circle of people or that kind of thing, speech can be coming from multiple directions. And so there are some fights the hearing aid makes with the world, right? Like, do I turn to this person or this person, and who's actually louder or not louder? And we've all been to the restaurant with the 20-year-olds at the table next to you who are laughing so loud, and they're all girls, I know, but and they're overtaking your table, and your hearing aid starts to pay attention to them because they're so much louder.
Right.
And so those situations are where like that focus may be more dominant for you and better for you too.
Yeah.
And so the app can let you do that.
Right. In the app, there is a directional focus option. So if you've got that loud table over on one side, you can pull out your app and focus your microphone, you know, away from them and towards your table.
Right.
And so those are all tools, you know, and what works for, you know, in a cross or a bicross fitting can sometimes be a little different than what works in a traditional binaural fitting. And that's something that's kind of best taken on a case-by-case basis. And I saw a question in the chat about what is this language we're speaking, cross and bicross. So that is when we're wearing a hearing aid on one side and the other ear has a transmitter that is sending the signal over. So it's for somebody who doesn't have any usable hearing in one ear, and they're sending a signal over to the other ear so that they have full kind of like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not binaural, but you know, hearing from all sides. Yeah. So.
Can you talk about connectivity with devices? The moment someone couldn't be here, but she emailed me asking, will it work with her Samsung phone, or does she need to get an iPhone? What are the positives and the limitations?
Sure. So our connectivity, we're compatible today with iPhone, and then we are hardware ready for Android. So we're going to be, we have a launch coming that will introduce that Android connectivity into the Moment product line, probably this winter. So, you know, so this capability is coming soon for Android. It will require operating system version 10 for that Android phone. And that is when Android introduced the capability to stream to hearing aids from an Android device. So it's not really about manufacturer of phone. It's more about the version of the operating system within the phone. And that's something that you can check within your phone to see, is it updated to version 10 or can it be updated to version 10?
Right. And in addition, you can use the app with Android devices.
Yeah.
So the app is available on all Apple 6S and newer. Recently, Apple updated their software, and the 6 no longer is capable of updating to the most current software. So it's 6S and newer, and then you can use it with Android phones, even if they're not on operating system 10, with the app. We do contain a list within our website that Dr. Heiman can share with you if you want to see if your phone is compatible as well.
Yeah. And what I was referring to is the direct streaming for phone calls and music for Android. That's the one that will be available very soon with those version 10 devices.
Got it. Okay. And that answers the last question. What is the website that they can look up the compatibility?
Oh, I will pull that up here.
Yeah, I don't know it off the top of my head. I think it might be a long.
It might be. Let me see.
Okay. In the meantime,
and I can
probably put it in the chat.
Let's see. I will be right back. So Lance has a question about masks. I'm going to go get some examples.
Okay.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
All right. And for anybody who is looking for that information, I think I've put the link in the chat there that you might be able to use. And check for compatibility there.
Great.
Were there any questions that, other than the mask question, that?
Yeah, it looks like, Dana, there's one more question that says, what about the compatibility to connect directly to a PC without an accessory? Will this be available in the Moment?
So the best way to connect with a PC is using an accessory, and we do have a couple different options for that. PCs and that Bluetooth connection isn't really designed for connecting to hearing aids. It's designed, PCs and the operating system for PCs are designed more so for connecting to Bluetooth headsets and communication headsets. So they often PCs don't know how to handle a hearing aid directly. So an accessory is going to be a better option to use there. And on that page where I had showed you a number of different accessories, we do have one that is really simple and easy to use that just plugs into the headphone microphone jack and then gives streaming directly to your hearing aids, provides a microphone right here that picks up your voice, which makes it easy for the other people on your call or however you're using your PC there to hear you, and it's a really straightforward solution.
It can also be hardwired to anything that has a headphone jack. So even if you have a tablet of some sort, or something you just don't use all the time and you don't want to be like Bluetooth connected, you can just plug this in right away. Like we're doing all these Zoom calls and stuff, and maybe that's not your preference to use your tablet like for direct connect, but you could just plug it in to be able to stream that call with friends if that's something that would be important to you. Dana, there's one more question with that regarding the upgrade. Would you be able to do a software upgrade without needing to buy a new hearing aid regarding the Android option?
So a really great thing about Widex hearing aids is that we, I'm not sure what you mean by software upgrade. So if it's the software within the hearing aid, or the firmware we call it within the hearing aid, that is something we push through the apps directly to your hearing aids. You don't even actually need to go into the office and to see Dr. Heiman to get that update. It'll go right through your app automatically and be available to you as soon as it's been released. In terms of, and so make sure that it allows us to keep your hearing aids always up to date, always with the latest improvements, the latest features as we add to them. I think that's become an expectation that people have from, the cell phone world, is that it's not just static at the point you bought it. It will get updates. It will get improvements. And so we're bringing that into, hearing aids as well. If your question was more about, Android, yeah, and so, right. So when that Android connectivity is added to, or that Android streaming capability is added to the Moment hearing aid, that will push to the hearing aids. That's an update for the hearing aids that is free and automatic. If your Android operating system needs an update, that isn't something that I can have any, that we at Widex or that Dr. Heiman has any control over. So you'd have to check with your phone carrier or the phone manufacturer about an update for that operating system on the phone.
Great. Okay, there's a question about masks, unrelated to Widex. Unless you have, Widex does have custom hearing aids. They don't have to be over the ear. But if you have over the ear receiver in the canal hearing aids or behind the ear hearing aids with a mold, the mask is causing a lot of problem right now. Sometimes the mask is so tight, it's pulling on people's ears. Today I saw quite a few, and they looked painful. So we do have in the office that we're giving away these little ear savers. It comes around the back so that what we can do is clip. Mm-hmm. Instead of this clipping to your ear where the hearing aid is, we're clipping it around your neck. So that you can wear your mask, don't pull your earrings out, and your ears are free, okay? That's one option. Another option is there are masks that don't go around the ears. There are ones like this one that ties. So you tie the top and you tie the bottom, and then it just comes around, not on the ears. And then we have two other kinds that have elastic that come around. So you just put it over your head. and then it's, again, not on your ears. So if you know of a friend or family member that makes masks, let's say, and they say, well, how do you want them? Say, please don't loop it around the ears. Make the parts longer so it comes around my head, or even better, have it longer and cut like at least a foot so you can just tie it. And then you don't have to worry about your ears, and then it's easy to pull up and over. I hope that's helpful. This is, you're welcome. This is a really big hot topic right now. So many people they're in pain because of the hearing aids. They're losing the hearing, or I'm sorry, they're in pain because of the mask. They're losing the hearing aids because of the mask. And we just need to be aware. Hopefully we'll get out of this situation of needing to wear masks. But, okay, so there's one more question. What is the accessory called, the one that you mentioned that connects to the computer via the jack?
We call it the Unidex. I'll type it in the box so you can see what that is, how that looks.
Thank you. Okay. Does anyone have any further questions? This has been such a great presentation. Thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge and what Widex has been working on. Hey guys, did you know that you should feel pretty special, like where we are in the western suburbs, or some of you come kind of far, but in Lisle is a research lab for Widex. And did you know that they've been working on this stuff for decades right here in your backyard? It's where it's happening.
Yep, it's true. That's that's our research facility there. It's where, they're verifying all of this technology and proving that when we claim something like we can detect speech, that it is true. We can detect speech, and it does have a benefit.
And we do have one of the leading, researchers kind of in our entire kind of community of audiology and hearing aids, who runs that research lab. And if you're ever lucky enough, sometimes he makes appearances on things. We haven't done anything in public in a while, but sometimes he does. So, yeah.
Is that Dr. Francis Cook?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't from rumor has it, he doesn't let any kind of marketing leave Widex unless he's approved for it, because they're not going to just like make up stuff or exaggerate. If he didn't prove it in his lab, it doesn't go into the marketing, which is, pretty good. It's nice to have, ethics, let alone like just truly stand behind your product. And so if it didn't work, he's going to go back and make sure it does.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I am so thankful for all of you and coming today and taking time out of your day and just eating your lunch with us, but also expanding your mind and participating also. So great. If you have questions, let me know. You are allowed to demo them in our office, and just reach out, call the phone number. Lindsay can help schedule you, and we'll go from there. Next week, we're going to have a different hearing aid company, and hopefully the week after that and things like that. But just know that this is pretty special that these professionals have taken time out of their day to share with you all what is so special about their company and all the crazy, amazing technology that they put into, like Dr. Helming said, into something so little.
It's really crazy.
Okay, yeah, amazing.
All right, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having
you all.
Heiman.
Bye.
Bye.